I like to be very honest and transparent. Growing up, I performed confidence.
Mhm.
So, and I'm going to explain what I mean by that, and also what that actually looked like. So I didn't really understand how to embody confidence. I understood, obviously, like, hey, this is something that you're supposed to believe. You're supposed to believe in yourself. So you're supposed to acknowledge that you can achieve X, Y, and Z, right? But for me, it didn't set in that I actually believed it. For a very long time, I was just performing it based off of what I saw people who were confident do, right? So there were walks that I like, I didn't even know it subconsciously. I was just like, oh, I
Mhm.
know how to do that walk, and I was just walking tall and things, my shoulders were back, but I didn't really know what that actually meant. I was just performing. Same thing with, conversations, right? Sometimes it ended up being a performance. I didn't necessarily believe everything that was coming out of my mouth. I was just stating it. So I remember, for an example, I was a part of this girls group. It was a girls empowerment group. Absolutely loved it. And we had to do an assignment about confidence, confidence and self-love coupled together. And one of the questions that they asked was, what is something that you feel like you're not as confident in? And literally, I was like, I'm confident in everything. How I look, da, da, da. I was naming everything. I was like, how I look, what I say, what I believe, like I'm just confident, right? And it was my sister who was like, but when you're by yourself, I noticed that you feel this way about certain aspects of your physical appearance. When you're by yourself, I've learned, and I watch you and I observe you, feel this certain way about new obstacles that you have to overcome, new benchmarks that you're trying to achieve, and you're not as confident, right? And I had to sit with that because I was like, oh wait, hold on, who am I behind closed doors, right?
Yeah.
And so I had to really just understand, okay, I need to start transitioning and starting to actually believe everything that I say. It's not just enough to perform, but it's
Mhm.
also an aspect of actually believing it. So what did that look like? To be honest, it was a process, because I had to learn how to accept things that I was not okay with myself.
Mhm.
And certain things I just can't change. Certain physical stuff I really can't change. Uh, my body image being one of them. And so I had to accept that for myself, and that's actually something that is brought up in the show. That is an allude to the crown she wears. It's an allude to something that happened to me personally when I was approached with my mom and my sister in a grocery store, and a person felt the need to address my mother and accuse of her of being a bad parent because we were anorexic, and we weren't anorexic. I was like, we eat a lot, but it doesn't show on the outside. And
Mhm.
so that was something that I became insecure about, because I had to accept that this is just my body. And for a very long time, I remember in college, I asked every one of my friends, how can I gain weight? They
Mhm.
told me everything from eating peanut butter before you go to bed to ice cream. All these things are not healthy, right? But
Yeah.
but this is what I was going through. And I felt growing up, I didn't have a space to talk about it, because when I did bring it up, I was ridiculed, right? I was told, like, oh, you're perfect. Everybody wants to be you. Everybody wants to be like
Right.
you. So I didn't find a
And
space for
while that's uplifting, right, it's also like, wait, but I'm not feeling that and I need a place to talk about it. And I think sometimes we need that opportunity to share our stories and our lived experience, regardless of like whatever motivation or inspiration you want to throw on me. That's great. And I appreciate it. But right now I just need to be heard.
right.
Right. And it's crazy. You mentioned like trying to change your body, which you look amazing, but like trying to change your body based on other people's expectations of you or other people's expectations of what health looks like or whatever that is. And really, there's no one physical representation of that. There's just physical assumptions,
Right.
the assumptions that we project out. onto people. And I think the other part of what you said that was so powerful to me is that you projected or performed confidence, but weren't really confident and had to take a moment to sit back and think about that.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you, that's actually one of the reasons why I call this confidence conversations is I was at dinner with two girlfriends, and one of them was like, when is the last time you didn't feel confident? And I'm like, I can't remember. Like, I
Mm,
feel good, I look good, whatever. And I went home later that night and was like, if you truly believed all of those things, which I did believe that I felt good, looked good, whatever, but that's not the core of confidence.
right.
Confidence is having faith or trust in something.
Mhm.
And I found myself on the end of a really bad situation. And I had to think about that of being like, if I had trusted myself, had faith in myself, and were confident in my own abilities, I wouldn't have been in that situation. And so I think it's really powerful for us as women to kind of reflect on that, because we can be knocking out of the park in one area of life, but have some internal work to do in others. So I appreciate you for that.